Mike! Mike? Jesus Christ, where is he? Invites me to a freaking wax museum and doesn't bother to show up to meet me here? Mike! Hello, Mike! Where is everybody? What the fuck? Where'd you come from?
Fuck. The exhibit. It's real.
What?
I mean, it doesn't look real, but you get close to it and it takes you to the place. It's real.
Mike, you're not making any sense, dude. What's going on?
The vampire, the Dracula exhibit. I got close because I wanted to feel the cape, and then I was in the castle and there was like sexy vampire brides all over the place.
Dude, what are you saying? Like the exhibit? You were actually in the exhibit?
Yeah, like it looks just like a tiny stage there, but you get inside past this invisible barrier thing, and there's like an actual castle with like several rooms and doors and big rooms and halls and tables and stuff.
Whoa, Mike, do you know what this means? This is just like that movie we just saw. So, what do you want to do? You want to go get some stuff to burn this place down?
What? No, I just came to get some Gatorade to re-up. I'm going back in.
You're going back in? With the vampires?
Sexy vampires.
Ah, yeah, of course. That makes sense. Welcome to episode 63 of the Graveyard Shift Horror Podcast, where each week we watch a movie from the horror category, usually suggested by one of our fine listeners, and we break it down into the good, the bad, and whatever else category we want to make up along the way. We'll talk about the plot, some production details, anything else that we find fun or relevant, and there will be spoilers. I'm your host Sheldon, and I never worked a graveyard shift alone. Please say hello to my favorite ball of wax, my co-host Mike.
Hey, everybody.
Mike, how is everything, bud?
After the shit show last week, I was looking forward to like a good, cheesy, fun movie, and boy, I got my wish. Thanks to you. So I'm a happy boy. How about you?
Yeah, I found this. Yeah, this was just the right mix of like 80s goodness and cheese. So it was a nice little palate cleanser after having like a couple of movies in a row that we didn't really care for. This one certainly isn't without its problems, but overall I had a good time. And this one, guys, I know I said it right in the opening that usually we cover a movie that's suggested by one of our listeners, but after a couple of crap tests,
after we realized that mistake.
We decided that instead of taking a chance of having movie number 3 that we didn't really care for, let's just pick something on our own. The last time we did this, Mike had one of his picks, so it just went with one of mine this time. And it was a movie I had seen before, but not since this movie was new. Like, it was fresh on VHS when I saw it last time, and I remembered it. Like, I remembered enjoying it, but I couldn't really remember anything about the movie. So I picked this one. So if you don't like it, I guess this is all on me. But Mike, anyway, why don't you tell everyone what we got for them this week?
Today's episode is Monsters Ball of Wax, because we watched Waxwork.
We sure did. And here's a little info on Waxwork. Released in June of 1988, Waxwork is an American horror movie starring Zach Galligan, who most people are going to remember most from the lead role in Gremlins. I can't remember his name in Gremlins, the character he played.
Was
Eddie?
he the guy
Bobby?
Was he the guy that said bright light?
No, that was Gizmodo.
Right, the website,
but anyway,
yes.
His girlfriend was hot. That's all I remember.
Yeah. I thought, when I saw the credits, I was just thinking of Zach Galifianakis.
I called him Zach Galifianakis a couple of times when I was telling people about this movie. Not at all the same person. But anyway, it has a runtime of 95 minutes, which is perfect. It was rated R for some reason. I can only think of one reason that it would get an R rating, but we'll talk about that later on. It had a budget of $1.5 million, which I gotta say, that it looks pretty good for having a budget that low.
Yeah, they must have been doing some lean effects, but
yeah, like that's maybe they didn't provide any food. Like the actors had to bring their own food. Like every day they shot, there was no.
Yeah, they cut corners somewhere, but it wasn't in the production.
Like I knew it wasn't any it didn't have like a big blockbuster budget or anything like that. But if somebody told me this movie cost like $5 million, I would have found that believable. So for $1.5 million, I think they did an exceptional job. Unfortunately, it only made $808,000 in the box office.
Oh.
So exactly. So some people don't have the fond memories of this, or didn't have the positive memories of this movie that I did.
As I recall, though, it did recover the budget with the rentals once it hit home video.
Yeah, this is one of these that
it must have just had some bad luck in the theaters, like 88. So what would it be running against?
Yeah, were there any popular movies coming out like around summertime of 1988?
Could have been like Child's Play 2 or A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Beetlejuice, Batman.
Yeah, there must have been like some big competition movies that just vaporized it in the box office, because this movie, like, it should have performed modestly.
Yeah. Well, according to Rotten Tomatoes, it looks like we're in the minority when it came to people that thought this was a good entry, because it has a critic score of 56% and an audience score of only 46%.
Oh, no.
So not a lot of love for this thing.
What is wrong with us not agreeing with the public? I mean, we're hating the movies they love, loving the movies they couldn't care less about. What the fuck?
Like, this movie is dumb as shit. I'd be the first person to tell you that. But I actually really enjoyed watching this. Of course, we're going to get into specifics. One of the things I want to talk about with this movie, maybe I should keep it for the good, but I'll just say it anyway, because this is one that back in the days of the video stores, because kids listening to this movie, like when Mike and I were kids, if you wanted a movie, you actually had to go to a store and rent an actual physical tape that you would put in these tape players.
And no binge viewing for you, you spoiled little bastard. You could only get, what, at best 5? If, like, your folks were just like, we're splurging, we're having a big, long weekend, maybe you could rent, like, 4 or 5. Oh. So you had to be really selective.
I've done that before. Myself and Rick and a couple of our friends, we've done that before, where we've watched, like, 6 movies in a row. One after the other, just, like, tape after tape.
And then good luck explaining any of those movies to your friends afterwards without them blending together.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, remember the time Jason fought Freddy, and then there was a Bigfoot, and then for some reason Jamie Lee Curtis helped Danny DeVito get his job at the stock market back after trading places with Richard Pryor?
You just mentioned a lot of movies that the majority of our listeners have no idea what they are. But
we do watch other movies besides horrors.
Yes. Not as much as I used to before I started doing this show, but occasionally, yes.
Oh, remember when horror movies were like a rare treat, and now they're just like, oh, this again?
Oh, all the time. Oh, just horror all the time. Like, that's just insane. Oh, I'm going to need a brain vacation. I can guarantee you. But anyway, we are going to talk about everything we liked and didn't like in this movie in our good and bad sections. And like I said, anything else that don't really fit the good and bad that fits in any category, we decide to make up afterwards. This can be anything as specific as a certain scene, certain character, certain piece of dialogue, certain effect, or as broad as an overall theme. Really doesn't matter. If we liked it, we'll call it good. If we didn't, we'll call it bad. We will start off with the good and start off with the Mike. So, Mike, tell me something good about this movie.
I'm This movie begins with some middle-aged dude getting the Ghost Rider send-off as as his head is pushed into a fireplace, and rather than his face just melting in the fire, he apparently got his head dunked in a baptismal font of gasoline first, because he lights up like a fucking Roman candle. Mm-hmm. And then, as this guy's like flaming and melting and screaming in his fireplace, we see some gothic credits that then immediately melt like wax. So, like, we get to see someone get fucking blasted to death with a fireplace before the credits even begin. And that's a pretty good start with me. This movie told me, okay, we're promising a good time. We're promising a good ride here.
Yeah, it's pretty much it looks just like a home invasion, like because someone is smashing a display case and taking things out of it, it's like stuffing it in a sack, and so you think that like, okay, the guy's gonna get like, you know, whacked on the head or something like that and killed. He was the guy that's obviously the owner of these things that are being stolen. But yeah, no, instead he literally gets his head jammed in a lit fireplace,
and then we're not even like told who this guy is.
Yeah, we have no idea who any of these people are. What the hell is going on here? What is it that they're stealing? It starts off with a bang for sure. So, first good thing I got on this, and this is kind of a broad one, like just the story itself. Like, is there any story like this? Like, I thought it was pretty original.
Yeah, I came into this thinking, we are going to be seeing the same old tired plot where it turns out that this guy is a serial killer and his victims are prominently displayed as the exhibits.
Yeah, which in a sense, like in one way, in a sense they are, but
they're not his victims.
There's much more to it than that. It's not just like a serial killer thing. It's a supernatural story, which is great. And I just realized I didn't even give the synopsis of the movie. Basically, well, this is what I just written down. This is directly from the IMDb page. A wax museum owner uses his horror exhibits to unleash evil on the world. And let me tell you, that doesn't even begin to actually describe.
That's terrible.
It is. Like,
description.
IMDb, seriously. Like, what the fuck?
Why didn't you just say someone pointed a camera at some shit and a movie got made?
The movie takes place in a wax museum. So let me describe it as best I can. Basically, the guy that turns out was stealing the items, the artifacts at the beginning that murders the guy in the fireplace. These artifacts are connected to, what did he say? Was it 13 evil souls?
Yeah, that somehow the best part is that they had to exist in real life. So it's like each one is like an artifact from their time on Earth.
Yes. So what he's done is he's created a museum with this wax displays of these people that had the evil souls. These wax displays are actually basically portals to the time period that this person lived in. Like, if you walk into the display, you actually are transported into a real life, like a live action version of the display.
If you do what your parents told you never to do and you cross that little velvet rope, you get what you deserve.
Yes, you actually get killed in the display, and
then you become a part of the tableau.
Exactly.
Because when you get killed in their world, then your body shows up as just a part of the set.
And this guy is his deal is that he has to have 13 people get killed in this displays that will release the evil souls upon the world, in which, I don't know, Satan takes over or something.
I think it's like part of his he's made a compact for immortality, and this is the cost of doing business. Right.
And I know, like, our description might sound a bit convoluted. That's because in the movie it's also very convoluted. Like, we've described it. I know this is going to sound like total bullshit, but we've described the plot just as well as the movie does.
We've done a good job accurately displaying what's going on here.
Yeah. So you have to see it. Like, if you watch it, it's hard without the context of actually seeing the movie. If you see the movie, that explanation actually makes sense. But
Even with that, like, this was such a like this plan was so sloppily executed.
yeah, I guess we're going into some bad territory right now. But like, it's fine.
yet.
It was like, it seemed like that they came up with a good premise, but then they were really rushed and panicked to find a way to figure out a way to end the movie and to come up with, at least come up with a reason why everything was happening.
Yeah, they phoned it in at the end, but
Yeah, the A-team,
plot wise, but spectacle wise, they went all out.
yeah, when it came to the writers, the A team wrote like the came up with the main premise, and the B team definitely came up with the how.
Yeah, this will happen. Oh wow, this is amazing. How are we going to do that? I don't know. I'm on my lunch break. Fuck off.
Yeah, the A team came
okay.
up with the what, the B team came up with the how for sure. But yeah, his original story, like I don't remember recalling seeing anything like that. Like, I'm sure that there's stories about like there's something where people cross from like real world to fantasy world. Of course, that's been done a lot, but not in this manner, not to anything that I've seen anyway. Not anything that I've heard of when it comes to movies, specifically horror movies. And thought it was a great job. Like, this was definitely something very different than what you were typically seeing in the '80s. So good for them. All right, what else you got for the good?
20 minutes into the movie, and like the big twist, or like basically what's going to be happening in this movie is revealed within 20 minutes. So we've got just enough time to meet characters, find out how they get along with each other, who's the asshole, who's the easy girl, who's the nice girl, and then we get to see bodies dropping right off the bat. Like 20 minutes in, and somebody's walking into the portal, they're in werewolf times, and then you get to meet Gimli as a werewolf.
What's his name? Like John Rhys Davies or something like that?
Yeah, John Rice Davies.
Rice.
I remember him from Sliders. I liked him as
remember
the
him from
professor.
Sliders. I remember him from he was in at least a couple of the Indiana Jones movies. So it was good to see like a familiar face. Like I said, I was surprised by this movie. Like, I remember I know I'd seen it. Totally forgot that Zach Galligan was in it. Forgot that this guy Gimli was in it. So it was pretty cool.
The guy who was in like a dozen episodes of Star Trek is in it.
Yeah. So that's all right. So yeah, like you're right. Like right off it doesn't take very long at all. Like we see that great kill at the beginning, then like 20 minutes later, what's happening? Like the whole thing that's going to be the driving force of this movie. We see it happen. Like we know right away, people are crossing over into these displays, and it gets real.
Boy, does it!
Whew, man. So
I mean, we get to see a neat werewolf transformation, but that's not where the special effects lie in this scene.
No, the werewolf itself, like the transformation wasn't bad, but the werewolf itself was a bit.
It had like a really tiny snout.
A bit. The only thing I remember from my notes, and I was telling Mike before we started that I wrote up all my notes watching this movie, and then my notes got deleted, so I'm freebasing this one. But I do remember notes that despite being live action, this werewolf is somehow cartoonish.
It looked like live action claymation.
Yeah, pretty much. And considering the budget again, like not bad, but it was definitely one of the lower points of this movie. The look of the werewolf.
The scale, again, that snout looked so tiny. Like they made like a great werewolf face, but then they're just like, what do we have for the snout? And the guy just ran out of materials. Like he thought he had like a good half a foot long snout, and then it turned out to be like a quarter foot.
Yeah, it's like the werewolf's face looks smaller than the human's face, even though its head was much bigger.
Yeah, instead of like having like a snout sticking out of his face, it's like they just tacked a werewolf snout, like just like laid it over his face.
Yeah, it was a strange one, but let me tell you, man, for the shortcomings of that werewolf, they made up for it with the werewolf's first kill.
Oh, fuckaroo.
Literally, and it'll go further on to what I've got.
200, yeah, 2 hunters come in and immediately aim a rifle at him, and I'm just like, oh, they're going to blow him away. The cavalry's here. But, for horror purposes, the old guy
Jesus
just
Christ.
fucks up.
Mr. Parkinson can't shoot a rifle.
He's supposed to be like the smart guy, and then he's got like this young guy with him, so you just think, oh, well, if the old guy's bumbling, the young guy's going to take up. But no, he tells the young guy, distract him, and he seems to have mistaken distraction for dissection, because he barely occupies the wolf's attention, just enough for the wolf to close in on him. And I'll let you describe what happens next, because I'm just going to break out laughing.
One of the best werewolf kills from any werewolf movie, because
Holy man.
literally rips the guy in half. And I don't mean just
Skull.
grabs him by starting with his head, grabs him by the head, and from his head down, just literally tears him in half. Amazing.
The only bad thing about this is that it reminded me of the end of Tag.
Oh, we're not going to talk about the movie. But yeah, it just, in full, gory goodness, just ripped in half. And meanwhile, this poor guy that wandered, from the real world, that wandered into this scene, is slowly turning into a werewolf in the corner because he was bitten just before these two werewolf killers showed up. And, guy gets torn in half just in time for the other guy to load the gun. Why you're out hunting werewolves and why you don't already have a silver bullet in the gun is beyond me. But, anyway, takes care of the werewolf, but then, of course, has to put a bullet through the poor teenage guy that's turning in the corner.
And then he materializes in the Wax Museum exhibit against the wall.
Yeah. As part of the display, as exactly the way he died, but now part of the display. Oh, there's one thing I got to mention good about the werewolf, though. I like this. They gave the werewolf a bit of sass because wherein the poor guy that does that gets dissected in a few seconds hits the werewolf with a chair, breaks a chair over his head. The werewolf literally stares at him and dusts himself off before killing him. I like that.
Yeah.
They gave the werewolf a little bit of attitude, not just like an animal. Like he actually got some swagger to him. So that was pretty cool. So I'll just go, since you brought that up, I'll just talk about it because this will knock a lot off my list. Just the practical effects in this thing, and everybody knows that I get a hard-on for some good 80s practical effects. This movie was rife with it. Holy shit, the animatronics in this, the costumes, the freaking kills were so good.
Oh, the gore props?
Yeah, just, so good. That was the first really gory scene we get is the guy getting ripped in half by the werewolf, but we see a couple of other ones that were good.
There's one where the guy's on the slab, and we're at the
the vampire party.
Yeah, we see vampires eating chunks of meat, and you just think, oh, they must have ripped up a deer or something, and then we get to see a guy on the table, and his shin has been stripped.
Oh, yeah.
He still has his foot.
Yeah,
it's just we see a nice chunk of bone.
His leg from his knee up is still intact, but from his knee down to his ankle, it's just a bone.
And the best part is, he only screams in pain when a mouse starts nibbling on his bone.
Yeah. When he's talking to this girl that crossed over from the real world, a mouse comes over and starts chewing on the bone.
That's when he notices, and he's like, get it off, like that's going to help.
Oh my god. Yeah, good thing that mouse didn't eat my shin bone. So yeah, that was really good. the vampires getting killed, like with the all of a sudden this girl turns into Buffy the Vampire Slayer and just goes full force on the vampire brides and just slaughters all of them. And
only to die horrifically lamely minutes later.
Yeah, well, just a classic like vampire scene where she's just falls under the count's trance and he just does his goes straight for the neck.
What a waste of an ass kicker. I haven't been that disappointed since the Dream Warriors.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But like there's some gore scenes, and then like it gets a little light for a little while. Like we see some good costume work, but not a lot of gore. And then, Jesus Christ, the last 10 minutes of this movie.
Oh, what a Royal Rumble!
Literally, like there's all the wax displays come to life and go on a rampage, just as like the most ragtag collection of people show up. Like some of them are wearing safari hats, some of them are like old as you can imagine. One is actually one of the kids' butlers, and they just start fucking kicking ass.
Oh, hold on, this is one of my goods that we're trading into. And that is the grandfather, played by John Steed of the Avengers, charges through the door, skewering one of the exhibits, saving his nephew's life with an epic entrance, which gets even epicer as his wheelchair has now been custom fitted, turning him into a Christopher Pike Dalek BattleBot. Yeah. And he's leading the neighborhood watch to glorious battle, who actually hold their own against a horde of undead, demonically resurrected monsters.
Oh yeah, and like they show everything. Some of them got guns, some like have swords and machetes. Like a couple of people just have like nothing but like sticks. Like they look like they're carrying like signposts or something. And
yeah, some of them are dressed like Sherlock Holmes, like Victorian sleuths.
Oh yeah. Like
other
literally,
people on
it looks like the characters from the Clue game came to life and showed up there.
Oh my god, it's like they visited the Spirit of Halloween shop just to armor up before they got here.
Yeah, and it is just an all-out brawl. Like this is, like you said, it's a Royal Rumble in the middle of the Wax Museum, and people are getting killed by the wax creatures, and some of the wax creatures are getting fucked up by these old guys that showed up.
Oh, Dracula comes in, and you think, oh, he's gonna like shred some people.
Think Dracula's gonna come in and like he's gonna have like a huge kill count. Instead, he gets cornered and turns into a bat like a little pansy and tries to fly away. But
someone catches him in midair.
The wheelchair guy is not having any of that. Catches him in midair in bat form and puts a revolver like point blank to his head and just blows his head off.
It's like, you never saw Dracula die like that in the movie.
Oh my god.
Somebody had to be first. Why don't you just wait for Dracula to turn into a bat and then kick the bat's ass?
Yeah, like that had to be one of the most satisfying kills I've ever seen in any movie. Because like this guy was played a good Dracula. I mean, like not like you would think like the Bela Lugosi Dracula or anything like that.
Like the Handsome Count.
Yeah, like Handsome Count, like kind of has like a Viggo Mortensen type of look.
Yeah, like 80s romance novel book covers.
Yeah, something like that.
Fabio.
And so like he was like a young handsome looking count. And so you think like, okay, this guy is going to start messing people up. We're actually going to see like how powerful he is. Nope, turns to a bat, gets his head blown off with like a .38 revolver.
A beautiful anticlimax.
And it came out of nowhere. And I think that's the part I loved about it, because he turns to a bat and immediately like someone grabs him by the legs.
And the grandfather kicking ass in his fucking BattleBot tank, just devastating. You think, oh, he's pinned down, he's not going to get anywhere, but then he just like starts whipping a mace around, just like clobbering everyone around him. He's a fucking warlord.
Yeah.
And then he finally gets jammed in a doorway And the Scottish werewolf sneaks up behind him, and as he's getting his head ripped off, his final words are, "Oh my goodness!"
Yeah, like, another kill that just comes out of nowhere. It's like, okay, you think like, okay, this guy's kicking ass. I was kind of expecting that he'd probably die, like go out in a blaze of glory. You know, this is what he's been waiting for his whole life. Just gonna go out and like kick some monster ass, and that's how he's gonna go out. Figured now at this point, like the wax museum is on fire, so we thought maybe he's gonna go that way. But nope. After being like so incredibly cool and like just like such a hard ass, gets stuck in a doorway and gets his head ripped off by a werewolf.
And dying in the most British way possible, just like the frog guy from Dr. Fives. Like, oh, Jolly, no, this is Jolly tight.
Oh, goodness. Oh. Yeah, and the werewolf did it. Like, the werewolf just, like, didn't even... It looked like the werewolf was just walking by and just happened to notice he was there and just, like, swaggers up and was like, I'll just take this guy's head off.
I'm just gonna have a meal before the flame takes me.
Yeah, so like all these kills, like everything, just fantastic, just like so good. Especially like Tattoo's kill, and I know his name is not Tattoo, but like that's what I'm gonna call him. Because he's a tiny little butler. What else are you gonna call him? He actually gets like picked up and fed into basically their version, their uncopyrighted version of Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, Audrey 2, which is a body snatcher pod from the old 50s movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, who is also Audrey 2, because as he stuffs the dwarf into the plant, you hear the plant say, "Feed me."
It actually said, "Feed me." Yes. What I call it? What do I call it? Seymour.
You called it, yeah, because Seymour's Rick Moranis.
Oh, Seymour was the guy. Okay, Audrey, you're right. That's the name of the plant because he named it after his girlfriend, Audrey too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it actually says, "Feed me."
Did he even call him Seymour? Did it say "Feed me, Seymour"?
I don't know. All I remember is just it saying "Feed me."
And did it burp after it swallowed him?
Yeah, I did burp.
But oh fuck, that was just, I didn't know if I wanted to put that in the good or the bad, but that is one of my goods.
I had it in the good. All the kills I put in my good because it's just it was just crazy, and yeah, it's just good. Like it was so satisfying. All these characters that the wax characters that you got to know and hate, you see them all die fittingly. So
and unexpectedly, like Dracula getting fucking summarily executed.
Yeah. Oh, that was the best. I want like an anime. I want like a video of just that. I'll watch that every fucking day for the rest of my life if I've got a video of that.
If you can find a GIF of this, please send it to us.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll put it on our Facebook page.
Okay, so that I could go on, but like just like watch the movie for the kills. It is good. That knocks off like quite a few off my list. So what else you got for the good?
I must have been really distracted when I wrote this next one because I'm completely devoid of context. Maybe it was a line from a movie, a line from one of the scenes. You're gonna have to help me if you can. It's just one word. Bitch.
Okay, the word "bitch" gets used a lot in this movie. Not like a part 4 and on of Nightmare on Elm Street level of bitch, but
I just have that written down, and I don't have any scene. So I'm just like, was there a scene where somebody just said "bitch" in an epic fashion?
Yeah, wasn't it when Zach Galligan's character, like when the butler tells him that his ex-girlfriend, their friend, his ex-girlfriend left with his friend. They were actually got killed in the museum, but they think they just left. And the butler says like, "Oh, they left together," and he just goes, "Bitch."
That must have been it.
Yeah, pretty sure that was it.
And yeah, my next one is Alan Thicke on the slab screaming when someone touches his foot.
I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what this guy looks like. He looks like a more muscular Alan Thicke. But he only screams when someone touches his foot or shin, like it's only in pain at that time. Remember, it is cut down, carved to the fucking bone, and only screams when someone touches it, or when the Count's son is trying to kill China. Which, why is the white girl named China? So the vampire's chasing her around this guy. They run around the table a few times like a cartoon, and then the vampire decides to leap over, but like he kind of falls short of clearing the table, and he's just laying across the guy, just completely over his leg bone, and that's when the guy's like, ah, ah, ah.
I guess it's kind of like is it kind of like, you don't know you have a paper cut until you wash your hands?
You don't really know that your leg bone is exposed until someone's laying on top of it.
Yeah, you don't
wiggling, trying to kill somebody.
It's like, yeah, you don't know. You kind of forget, like that. Every single bit of meat has been stripped off your leg until somebody touches it. Your brain is like, oh yeah, pain. Okay, so I got to say something though. Like, how much else good do you have to talk about this movie?
I think, like, you covered a few of things when we talked about the ending.
Yeah.
You also said the story was good, the great makeup and everything. So I think I've only got one left.
Okay, you do that one because I'm definitely going to get into bad territory next. So.
Okay, my last one is a nice Living Dead homage.
Oh yeah. That was probably my favorite of the displays.
This was like a perfect shot-for-shot remake of the opening to Night of the Living Dead, if George Romero actually had a decent budget.
Yeah, it looked a little too polished, but right away, as soon as
like the zombies actually look like zombies,
they look like zombies, and as soon as I knew it was going to be like kind of like a Night of the Living Dead homage, as soon as he walked through it and it turned black and white.
And then they're walking around the graveyard, except they actually have wounds.
Yes, they look
rather than just looking like.
They actually look dead.
Like Romero got his brother-in-law and his neighbor to just be like, hey, can you take a couple steps away from the barbecue grill for a bit and just walk into this frame and look kind of sad and disappointed?
Yeah, so I like that too. That was I love that. Like the zombies were done really well.
And then they kind of ripped off the Evil Dead too, with that
the hand?
With the living hand.
Yeah, that fucking hand. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for your good. Okay. So let's go into the bad. Want to talk about since you just talked about a scene that made me remember this, because it goes back to the vampire, the whole thing with the poor guy strapped to the table with his leg bone exposed.
Captain Exposition.
Okay, so first of all, this is where the Count's son goes on the attack and gets dispatched very quickly by China. And it was a great kill in the fact that, the gore was great, because when he gets killed, he actually starts to melt and dissolve, and, with a few cutaway scenes, and it looked so good. Slimy, gory goodness.
It sounds like your bad is about to be... It sounds like my bad is about to be your bad.
But, Jesus Christ, vampires must be the weakest fucking movie monsters ever, because all you need to do to kill a vampire, apparently, is to put anything in the shape of a cross and then touch them.
Filleting knives as a cross to kill a vampire. My notes just say, fuck you.
Yeah. So basically, in this universe, you could go kill every vampire that was there by crossing your fingers and touching them with it. Because that's all she does. She grabs a couple of knives, and I think, okay, she's going for a decapitation. She's gonna. I was like, I know where this is going. She's gonna kill the son, and then Big Daddy's gonna show up, right? There's no way she's escaping this, because she's only the second victim, so she's not gonna live through this. but she grabs a pair of knives, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna see a decapitation. She's probably gonna even do that, like the crossing them around the neck and then like pulling them through. Because like at this point, you kind of know she's gonna turn out to be a bit of a badass. But no, she just puts him in the shape of a cross and then like lightly dabs it on his forehead, and that's all. And all of a sudden, he just turns into a pile of melted wax.
Yeah, I wrote down, fuck you. Only Peter Cushing can imbue vague symbols with the power of Christ because he's earned it. You have not.
Peter Cushing could just like kill a vampire just from like his will alone.
One of my best movies. I think it was like the next Hammer movie he made after Dracula 58 was The Brides of Dracula or Curse of the Vampire Brides, whatever that movie was. The one with the guy chained up in the basement, and he kills him. No shit. By just grabbing a windmill blade, weighing it down so it forms a shadow of a cross with the moonlight. And that is what he uses to kill the vampire at the end. Yeah. So Peter Cushing alone has the right to turn vague symbols into Christian weapons.
Yeah, so that's such bullshit. So does that mean like if a vampire picks up a book and opens it up and sees like a lowercase t, they'll die? Hey, what the fuck, man? Like, that's like, it made the vampire seem like so non-threatening, especially then one gets killed by being lightly pushed up against a wine rack.
Oh, that was
apparently her like torso was made of jello. Because like, no, seriously, she just shoves her back, she hits a wine rack, and she's immediately pierced by 2 champagne bottles.
Yeah, I couldn't. This was just like, this is the worst way to try to portray someone as a badass.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was one you had to actually send me a screenshot of.
I guess she's a squirter.
Oh my god. That's literally my wife said, I guess every girl's a squirter if you shove them against a wine rack hard enough. And that was my wife said that, so, ladies listening to this, don't be offended by how misogynistic that sounded.
Any girl can be a gusher if you put 2 bottles of wine in her.
Oh, God. I'm not defending that one. You're all on your own.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, so, like, those vampires got killed, dispatched so quickly. And she's just, like, covered in blood. And you're like, okay, yeah, she's a badass now. But it's like, maybe she will survive this. But then, no, she just walks into the count, and he does his, like, little glary eye things, and that's it. She's finished. Okay, so...
Yeah, and the worst part is that she was warned by the guy, don't look anybody in the eye. So, all you had to do is, like, just look at Dracula's feet so you know where he is. And then you give him the business with the crucifix that you have.
Close your eyes and just run around with the fucking, like with the shape of a cross in front of you.
Just, like, cross your arms together and be like, get thee behind me, Satan.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so, I honestly, in movies, when I see movies like that, it's like, so that's all you need to do? So how the hell does anyone ever get killed by a vampire? We're going to talk about that when we do some more of the Hammer Dracula movies. We're going to talk about that because some of the ways that Dracula dies or gets injured in these movies is some of the most ridiculous things ever.
Conversely, also some of the most epic ones as well.
One, he dies by accidentally walking to a bush.
Wait, what?
He walks into a bush, and apparently, like, the type of bush it's a thorn bush that was the same... the way to describe it,
same
the same
thorns
that you used to make the crown of thorns for Jesus.
Oh my God!
And he gets like forced into the bush, and that's how he dies.
Was that a Christopher Lee Dracula movie?
Yeah, it was.
Oh my God! I somehow missed that one.
Oh, it's fantastic. I'm pretty sure I've seen like on YouTube just that clip.
The good ones I remember were when he's fighting this couple on the top of his castle, and the guy stabs him with a poker, And he's just like, fuck you. You can't, like, it wasn't wood. It wasn't in my heart. Fuck you. You can't beat me. I'm the Prince of Dracula. I'm king shit. But then lightning strikes him and he bursts into flame and falls off the castle. And I'm like, fuck yes.
Then Thor shows up and the Immigrant Song starts playing. I might have gotten the two movies confused, so I'm not sure.
And then there was Dracula 1972, where he dies right in the beginning by getting impaled with a wagon wheel.
Yeah, so like vampires is weak as fuck, man. Anyway, we're talking about Hammer movies now. Tell me something else that was bad about this movie.
The sound had some bad mixing in it for me. Like, there were times when the effects and the music were always high and prominent, but there was times when the voices dipped really low.
I didn't see it.
Like,
I don't know what was going on. I did not have that problem. And we watched the same version, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that problem. So I think you're just drunk or something. What I'm going to say about For My Bad is, like, I fucking hated all of these characters, the teens. They were just the most obnoxious people.
Even like the milquetoast teen girl, she was like a slightly more annoying version of Sandra Dee from Grease.
Oh, she is such a bland character, and I know that's kind of what they were going for. She was supposed to be like, she's the goody. But so first of all, like, if she is, why the hell is she hanging around these people? Because, like, the rest of her friends, the rest of this gang, were like the loudest, most boisterous people ever, the most arrogant and just obnoxious. Every single phrase he uttered made me want to either poke my eyes out or rip my ears off.
Ugh, douchebags all.
Oh yeah, and okay, here's a question: were they supposed to be high school kids or college kids?
I think they were supposed to be high school kids, but they acted like college kids.
They acted more like college kids, and the school scene seemed more like a college, like, lecture place.
Did we actually see them in school, or were they just like in the bleachers?
No, they saw them in school because there was something else I wanted to bring up about a couple of times because of the freaking crazy ass German teacher they had.
Go on.
That actually had, like, a Nazi flag displaying.
Oh yes, that guy is talking about how easy it is for Nazis to rise to power, like, because people crave, like, strong leadership or something.
He was talking about how Nazis. I was like, okay, like, that's just a history lesson. Okay, big deal, and like it's like a little bit of a warning as well, like, to don't let your guard down, because look at Germany, like, it got taken over by Nazis, so.
Or America, but whatever.
Yeah. But then I realized, like, but did you have to bring in, like, a swastika flag to tell people this?
Or a guy with an accent so thick you could swear he's muttering Sig Heil at the end of every sentence.
Yeah, and it's like, where did you get this flag, first of all? Because this doesn't look like some kind of reprint. This looks like the real deal here.
It's a treasured family heirloom.
And it's like, yeah, you can teach people all about the Nazis. Like, I'm pretty sure you could have found a picture of a Nazi flag. You didn't actually have one flying in the classroom.
What most people don't know was that Auschwitz was just a very nice summer camp. Things got out of hand. I will admit some things did not go well, but it wasn't that bad.
Did you know that Auschwitz is German for easy bake?
Oh, shit. Bad Sheldon. Go to the showers.
God damn it.
Hit the shower. You're out.
I'm channeling John right now. So
I guess you struck a nerve gas.
Oh, fuck. So, yeah, like, okay, so the characters. Yeah, like, the characters were all obnoxious, and not nearly as obnoxious as the fucking cop. Oh my, okay, what was it with 80s movies where the cops were always the same? They were, like, so angry and aggressive, always dismissed everything. Like,
they fucking hate
they
teenagers.
hate teenagers
I mean,
so much.
they would fucking shoot them if they were allowed to.
So, like, okay, just consider this for a moment. So this cop, we know afterwards, like, he's going through a book, he understands that there's, like, a lot of missing people in this town. They've, like...
Yeah, he's like, I got like 8 people missing, and now you're telling me there's 3 more? Like, get a fucking line, kid.
So... he's aware that there's, in the short amount of time, like, there's been quite a few people went missing in this town. And so this kid shows up and says, like, he thinks his friends are missing, and he's basically like, get the fuck out of here, they better be missing or I'm gonna put your fucking ass in a cage. Like, holy shit, dude. Maybe you should take his claims a little serious, you know?
And also maybe get a little relaxation from the evidence locker and chill the fuck out.
But yeah, that's like every 80s movie when a cop is portrayed, he's always like, I'm gonna put your fucking ass in a cage.
Those fucking punk kids, slackers.
But, well, he does redeem himself almost, because we realize he's not as stupid as you think, because when he does go to the wax museum and takes a look around, he kind of like brushes it off. Oh, there's nothing going on here. But then he leaves, and then immediately he's thinking about the pictures of the missing people, and he's connecting them with some of the people he saw on display.
Oh, well, you say he's not that stupid, except he brings backup and makes them wait in the car.
Yep. Makes him wait in the car. That guy's just useless. Did he even, like, talk in this movie? It's like, come on, we're going to the wax museum. Okay, you stay in the car. And then, like, 5 minutes later, he's dead because he gets his neck snapped by Lurch.
Yeah. Oh, that fucking commando entrance he makes. I just think, like, oh no, don't make this idiot be the ass kicker. He looks like the rejected third Blues Brother when he comes into that Waxworks. Like, he's full on infiltration mode. It's like, yeah, he just happens to wear the same a perfect camouflage with the background of the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like sneaking in, and I'm like, okay, I guess this guy's going to be the cavalry. And then, oh, nope. Cop is on his own, stuck in ancient Egypt.
Yep. And yeah, that cop gets dispatched because he gets pushed into one of the displays, and it happens to be the mummy.
Yeah, we think he's going to be okay because he goes near an exhibit, but backs away. And I'm like, oh, so he knows not to get close to the exhibit. And then the guy shows up behind him and just tosses him in.
I got a problem with that. That shouldn't be able to work that way.
I got another problem with that. You don't just like grab people and throw them in. Every person that we see gets like wanders through their own sneaky rule-breaking volition. Every one of these assholes decides, I'm going to cross the velvet rope like a douche because I have to touch something, even though like you're supposed to be told as a kid you don't touch the museum exhibits unless it's like in the middle of the floor and it says, hey, touch me. Like, you're told not to touch things, don't cross the velvet rope. Everybody wanders, but he doesn't force anybody to go to a specific tableau. So there should have been like a nice high risk of people gravitating towards like one single very interesting tableau and all the other ones getting ignored. But every one of these monsters needs to have a sacrifice, and by some amazing coincidence, bad writing, only one person gets interested in each tableau to get killed. One woman takes an interest and gets killed by an invisible man, as is implied because we see her getting like a gasoline bukkake.
Mm-hmm.
And then one person gets attracted to the Dracula because, Dracula, world famous movie monster, only one person is enough of a fan to wander into the exhibit. One guy gets into the werewolf because, only one person likes the Wolfman. Like, there was such a large capacity for fuck-ups. Like, one monster getting all the sacrifices because he's popular, he's got good press, and all the other monsters are just like shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so besides like the awful characters and like you nailed some good points there, I'm not sure what else I have for the bad.
I've only got one where the guy and the girl decide to come in, burn down the wax museum because they realize, oh, this guy's killing our friends. They haven't put together exactly what's going on, but the grandfather has told them, like, if you just burn down the monsters that haven't got a victim yet, then the cycle cannot be complete, the ritual cannot be complete, the immortal wizard guy cannot gain power, as well as, a small squad of surprisingly easily killed monsters. So they try to burn down the museum. Museum guy, Warlock, and Lurch grab them, and you think, oh, they're gonna throw them into an exhibit, but first they cover their mouth and pull them against the wall while the other classmates, which looks like a teenage Tom Hiddleston, and the other girl, which is just like, filler girl number 2. They wander again, not together, into an exhibit, like leaving one guy wanting. They both wander into one exhibit each, because I guess only one person gets enthralled, because everyone makes their quota, and they become part of the exhibit. But as they're pulled back, like, you got a hand over your mouth, but you do have your hands free, and the girl is pulled in with Lurch next to a metal wall. So if you wanted to make noise, you could just like slap that metal wall to get someone's attention.
There would be absolutely no problem there. Yeah, you're right.
But as we saw later, when she gets thrown into the Marquis de Sade's portal, she gets whipped and still doesn't make noise. So I guess that's just her way, keeping her mouth shut.
I guess so.
And I'm all out of bads now.
Yeah, that's the only thing I wanted to add is like while I did really enjoy this movie, nice, like, largely unknown, good cheesy horror 80s horror movie. Yeah, the characters were bad. The dialogue as well needed some polishing. Their $1.5 million budget certainly didn't get used on the writers. That's for sure. Good premise. Story itself was great. I thought it was really good. Dialogue, certainly not. But anyway, that's it for the bad. So what about for, do you have a certain thing that didn't really fit into either the good or bad category?
Yeah, 2. 1, since when did applying a crucifix to a vampire's face lead to their skull blooming like a flower?
Yeah, that was, I thought at most it'd make maybe, like, it shouldn't work anyway, because it's not actually a crucifix. You're making the shape of one. But, like, at the very least, it would be, like, just something to repel them, wouldn't it? Not make their fucking head melt.
Yeah, like, do you think, like, at worst, since it's not actually a crucifix and has, like, none of the power, you think just the association of the basic shape would be enough to drive them back. But when she presses up to his head, it's burning into his head, just like Evil Ed or Mina Harker. But no, you think, oh, it's just going to burn the image into them and then they'll fuck off. No, his head cracks open like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things, and he drops, and he doesn't even have a skull. It's just like his head was just entirely red shit, and it just opened up like rose petals. And he drops to the ground. So what the fuck?
Definitely. Oh, the only thing I've got for like to call a WTF moment would be the Marquis de Sade display when the girl wanders into it and starts getting whipped and getting off on it, and I'm like, holy crap! All of a sudden, this movie turned into like pre 50 Shades of Grey shit.
We did get some allusion to that because she was reading a book on the Marquis de Sade in class. And she had this look on her face like, I could get into that.
Yeah, definitely. So I just didn't expect.
So there was a preface for that.
And like he even makes a line about that she had her first orgasm at the end of his whip.
And even he's surprised. He's just like, I gave her the treatment, and she Like she hasn't cracked. This is something. But then when we get a shot of her back, like I don't know if it's like bad filming or bad makeup. She looks like she's got like maybe some cat scratches on her.
Yeah, maybe like a little light bruising for somebody that just took like, you know, 3 rounds with a fucking cattle whip. She's actually in pretty good shape.
Yeah, like there should be flesh missing. There should be gouges. There should be like split skin. You know, things that a whip would do for 200, Alex.
Yeah.
But my last big what the fuck is as soon as the end credits start, it's my party and I'll cry if I want to. What the fuck? This does not fit.
No, it does not.
Put in some original music or something, or if you're gonna use any song, it could be I don't know, like some heavy metal song or something. But no, you just throw in like a 50s pop chart topper. There's no context for this. There's not a party theme in the movie. None of the characters are named Judy or Johnny. This just doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
No,
it's completely out of place.
It was out of place. I agree. I kind of forgot that it was even there, to be honest. Okay, well that's all the good, bad, and other, we'll call it. But you got some pretty good ones to talk about in this one. Like a couple especially stood out to me, but I'm very curious about what you picked.
Oh yeah, there's no shortage on this week's Kill of the Week. And I mean, Dracula getting his fucking head blown off is pretty damn strong. But I think I've got to give it to the BattleBot Grandpa just wrecking shop like a motherfucking boss, only to be defeated by the paraplegic's greatest enemy, a door frame. and then just the passing werewolf thinking like, oh fuck, opportunity strikes, so do I. And he just pulls the head right off to it. Oh my goodness. It was just such a confluence of awesome stupidity and bizarreness. It's just, that's, I mean, like, what else do you want from a Kill of the Week?
Yeah, that's a good one. It's like, yeah, you said defeat it, and he got defeated. And yeah, defeated is the right word, because nothing says you lose like getting your fucking head ripped off its shoulders by a werewolf. And it just came out of nowhere. Like, I thought that, yeah, he wasn't going to make it through to the end. He was going to sacrifice himself some way, go out, you know, like
I thought he was going to die to the warlock or the butler.
Yeah, or go out like kind of like Blaze of Glory style, you know? But,
or like have to take a grenade because he gets swarmed by monsters. So then he would just pull a grenade and he's like, I'll see you in hell.
Yeah, something like that, exactly. Some like old cliche. But no, they're like, no, this is how you're going to go out. You're going to get stuck in a door and then a werewolf's going to rip your fucking head off. So that was good. Caught me off guard. I guarantee you that. I did not see that coming. So
and neither did he, because he couldn't turn around.
Exactly. So guys, that is our coverage of Waxwork from 1988. What do you think? Have you seen this movie? How familiar are you with it? You agree with what we had to say? Disagree? Or did you check it out after hearing our review of it and got some thoughts? Well, we want to know what those thoughts are, and you got a few ways to get those thoughts to us. First of all, you can email us at graveyardshiftpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at GYS_horrorpod. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. And of course, we are also on Instagram. Go to instagram.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. And of course, all of these things, we do more than just post our episodes and stuff like that. We love getting messages from you guys. Plus, we also post just a lot of horror-related stuff. Doesn't necessarily have to be, in regards to the movie we talk about. Just if we find anything horror related that we think you guys would enjoy, we post it there. So check it out. It's got good entertainment value in itself. Also, if you're feeling particularly generous and you want to help us out with some of the costs of producing the show, you can head on over to www.patreon.com/graveyard, and there you can make a donation to the show. You can do a one-time thing or a monthly thing. If you just want to do a one-time thing, that's fine. You just sign up. It says it'll deduct a monthly fee from you, but you can cancel right away and you'll just get charged for that 1 month. So you feel free to do that. What happens with this money is that it goes into the production of the show, because the show is free to listen to, not free for us to make. Like, we actually have to pay a fee to our Podbean, our provider that gets our episodes out to you. And as a little reward, if you're feeling generous for only as little as $1 a month, you get to help us out, but you also get to listen to our Patreon exclusive episodes. These episodes are only available to our loyal Patreon donors. We post one there each month. We do it a little different in the way we do the regular show. We talk about different things, not just movies. We'll talk about some TV shows, even video games, something horror related. And we do it kind of more freebase style. Like, we just talk about what was going on in these shows, not just why we liked them or didn't like them, things like that. Just, we go into a little more detail. And of course, we totally understand that not everyone has the money to give us money, but you can still help us out a ton. The best way to do that would be to go on over to iTunes and rate, review, subscribe. And when I say best, I mean that's in the long run, really that's what helps us out the most, because if we get enough subscriptions and ratings, iTunes will start to feature us as a suggested show for people that go to iTunes looking for horror podcasts. But of course, if you're not an iTunes user, that's certainly not an option for you, but you can still help us out a ton by whichever way you're finding this podcast. There must be some kind of rating, review, and subscription option, so you can help us out there by doing that. If that's not possible, share us on social media. You know, if you know somebody that would be interested, just share our Twitter or Facebook page with them, let them know about us, or just share us by word of mouth. Sometimes that's all that's needed. So, Mike, other than the Graveyard Shift, what kind of non-horror related things are you involved with?
Well, I'm doing the Playing with Power podcast, the Nintendo Power retrospective podcast, where we read each issue of Nintendo Power, first to last, front to back, or until I run out of issues or co-hosts. And then we will discuss the game coverage, letters to the editor, stuff like that. And in that same feed, as a little bonus, we also do a show called the Taste Test, where we do little skits about video games with food themes, because my co-host is a cook.
Did you say he's a shit cook?
You know, I've never tried his stuff, so who am I to say?
No, but yeah, is that what you just said?
I was trying to say chef.
Oh!
But I'm like, wait a second, he's not that sophisticated.
He is a cook? And I was like, did you say he's a shit cook?
He's a shit co-host, but, you know, I'm not gonna...
Brandon's listening to this, and he's like, what the fuck, man?
I love you, Brandon. And, I also do a tech podcast, or just like a tech discussion, science, maybe a little chemistry, you know, incredible, groundbreaking, world-changing stuff done by smart people who I have no right to be talking about because I'm a dum-dum. And I co-host that with another dum-dum, Rich. And, you know, we talked about the Patreon, how it covers the cost, but, you know, if we can make money beyond the cost, it would definitely incentivize us to produce more content in some ways, or produce, you know, spend time with new projects, because this podcast is great, but, you know, I got other ideas to build up the brand, but, you know, I've also got to look for a job that actually pays the bills, so, you know, if I could put more time into this, that would be great. So, you know, another reason to support the show as a thank you to us, and also to see what else we can do.
Basically, Mike's saying he's poor as shit, so give him some money.
Well, I like to think I'm kind of earning it with my entertainment.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. So, guys, no, but check out Mike's other shows. Like, seriously, like they are good stuff. Like, honestly, like it keeps me well entertained. Like, I always get like a couple of. It's definitely they're all on my regular rotation and all like just it's very well done. So good on you, Mike.
Oh, thank you.
So, guys, that is our show.
I take back the insults I was muttering about you under my breath.
Yeah, okay. Well, fuck you. So, guys, that's our show for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you enjoy it. And check out this movie. Like, it got low scores on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not going to say it's fantastic, but I'd give it like 6.5, 7 out of 10. It was fun.
It's tolerable.
If it doesn't have a lot of replay value, but once you see this once, I don't think there's really need to see it again.
Unless you love seeing a vampire bat getting fucking blown away.
That scene has great replay value. Yeah, you'll watch that again and again. But check it out.
You'll wear out the last 10 minutes on your VHS copy of this.
If you're not familiar with it, then and you're in the mood for like some cheesy 80s horror, then check it out. I think you'll like it. And we're going to be back next week with another horror movie, and this one will definitely be one that was on the suggested list, so it'll be from one of you guys. So if you send us a movie suggestion, be on the listen for that to see if it's your movie that we covered. And if you do have any movie suggestions that you want us to cover on the show, then like I already gave you several ways that you can reach us, so don't be shy. Suggest as many as you want. And like I said, we'll be back again next week with another horror movie to talk about. Until then, I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Mike.
And thank you again for joining us on The Graveyard Shift.
It's my podcast and I'll cry if I want to, cry if I want to.